scene. We're joined now by our political analyst, Michael Yaki, to talk some local headlines this hour. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
So we have two topics we want to get to. First is the Leland Yee corruption case.
Right.
There were some developments this past week.
right.
But first, we want to discuss the new Bay Bridge report.
Absolutely.
And I know a lot of people drive on that bridge. It's been open almost a year now, but there is a state senator who
3 years late and $5 billion over budget.
Well, you know, all things come in good time. We want to talk about this new criminal case that could be filed.
Right. State Senator Mark DeSaulnier in the East Bay, I think Concord, heads a transportation committee in the California State Senate, and they did an independent review of the Caltrans documents and emails, and they came up with a report on Thursday that's pretty alarming. Their conclusions, which is their own conclusions at this point, and not of any investigatory federal, criminal investigatory body, came up and made the assertions that Caltrans and one of their contractors engaged in a pattern and practice of squelching essentially dissent. Anyone who was raising questions about the quality of the work being done, the fabrication of the welds, all the things that came back to bite Caltrans later on in terms of cost and time, were reassigned, demoted, sent elsewhere, essentially punished for daring to express dissent over the project. And what's interesting is that one of the results of this whole situation is that this fabricator in China, through its own ineptness, was running behind schedule. So what did Caltrans do? Instead of saying accelerated and you're going to get penalized, they said, well, we'll give you lots and hundreds of millions of more dollars if you actually speed it up, even though you should have done it in the first place. So
no criminal charges have been filed.
No.
DeSaulnier is just saying that he wants to do it. He's done a report. He's thinking about it.
Right.
Is there a timeline for this?
This coming week, the Senate committee is going to meet, and part of that is going to be whether or not they're going to recommend that a criminal investigation be open. Now, the Highway Patrol has its own investigation going on right now of what happened at the Bay Bridge, but there's all these really. I mean, it basically starts off from the fact that if you're going to build a bridge, do you choose someone who's built a bridge, or do you choose someone who's built cranes? And we talked about this during the break, and you said, well, I would choose someone who built a bridge.
But I'm also not an engineer or a bridge expert. But they chose my answer to the pop quiz.
And I think that would probably make sense. And Caltrans chose someone who made cranes, and that's where a lot of these problems came about. And with the cost overruns, the welds, the bolts, all the things that are still going on, it's a problem. And we haven't seen the last of it. We're just continuing to uncover more and more stuff that, unfortunately, lends an air of uncredibility to anything that Caltrans says, and more importantly, the safety of the Bay Bridge and the people who drive across it. So,
really quick, since you're here to talk about politics, is this DeSaulnier trying to make a name for himself in politics, or is there a real case here?
Well, I think there are two things. One, I think it would be remiss to say that he's not also running for Congress right now. But I think that a lot of this does stem from the fact that a lot of people have been asking, why hasn't anyone in politics stepped up and said, where's the accountability? Where is the accountability for the taxpayers? Where's the accountability for Caltrans? And he at least has done that, so kudos to him. All
right, let's talk now about our former state senator, Leland Yee.
Well, sort of former. He actually is still he's still
suspended.
He's suspended
state senator?
And he's still drawing a salary. He's still making money. He's using his campaign funds to pay his lawyers. And this past week, he showed up to court. They showed up to court.
Pled not guilty.
Pled not guilty to new charges. The grand jury came out with additional charges to the ones that were already there, including now he's being accused of using his campaign operation as a racketeering enterprise, as a vehicle to gain money, not just for his what's called honest services, which is the ability, you're supposed to be a politician, you're supposed to do these things because that's your job. You're not supposed to do it because someone's paying you for it or someone's giving you campaign contributions for it. But this is also the first time they make an allegation that he personally benefited from it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that comes out. One of the more interesting things that came out is that they now bring up 2 new counts of extortion, which they didn't do before. And the extortion was aimed at an unnamed NFL owner who wanted a law passed in California that would limit his exposure for his players in another state being able to claim workers' comp. Here, kind of technical, whatever. Apparently, Leland allegedly said, "I control this committee. If you want this bill to go through, you got to pay. You got to make all this campaign contributions to me." Allegedly, he also did that to the California State Advisory Commission, Athletic Advisory Commission, which regulates MMA fighting in the state. So now we have a whole sports angle to this.
Keeps getting stirred.
Absolutely.
There's so much drama with this case. What's the next step?
Next step is it's all going to go silent for a while. The trial probably will not happen until sometime next year.
Something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mike. We'll be right back.